Well, hello my crafty friends, and welcome to another video by yours truly. Thank you for joining me, and again, as usual, if you like what you see and what I do, please hit that bell button and that subscribe button, and then you'll get future notifications of what I upload onto my channel, so you will get notifications of future videos that I do. Also, I will put the link in below for my Facebook channel, for my Facebook page. So again, if you like what I do, please join my Facebook group. It's a nice small group at the moment, but I'm looking to expand it, so get more people in. So yes, so if you could do that, that'd be absolutely marvelous. Thank you very much. Now, what have I got for you today? Well, I thought it would be a good idea for me to address embossing powders. And I'm going to show you several different techniques. I'm going to emboss onto several different textures. And basically, I'm going to start with the basics and then go to a little bit more probably advanced stuff. So you can whiz through and go to the advanced stuff if you already know about embossing. But if you want to refresh and then stick with me from the beginning, that would be absolutely fine. Right, so okay, so what do we need? Obviously we need a heat gun. Now this is the Tim Holtz Ranger heat gun. I've had it for quite a few number of years, and the reason I got this one I will explain later, because things were happening and I wasn't too happy with the old heat gun that I was using. So so basically I got this one, and it's a lot gentler. So the other thing is, don't use a hairdryer or things like that, because they are not just designed for heat embossing, and this is a much higher temperature. So and it's designed specifically for heat embossing, so bear that in mind. So that's the heat gun. Now obviously we need embossing powders. Now I've got here Sentimentally Yours by Phil Martin, and these are super fine. Now the reason I've chosen these is, as it says on the label, they're super fine. So when we come to stamping, I would like to replicate what I've stamped with the heat embossing powders, so this shape comes out with a very fine detail, so which we will get onto and I will show you. Basically you've got you've got 6 colors, and I think you can buy these as a bundle, which is what I did initially, and these I bought back 3-4 years ago. So but yeah, look out for the super fine, because that is what will bring out the detail of the stamps. And the colors that you need, which will cover most if not all of your embossing needs, are pure white, pure gold, crystal clear. I will be using the crystal clear, and towards the end of the video I will be demonstrating a technique using the clear. So yeah, I will be using that. Silver, pure copper, and jet black. So that's your basic colors, and that's basically all you need. Now for most heat embossing situations, ink pads, generally all the time Versamark ink pad. This is a watermark stamp pad, and if I hold that up you can see it's the Versamark and it's a clear ink pad. What this does is act as a glue to the embossing powder. So when you come to stamp your image, put it down on your cardstock, ink powder, embossing powder, and then it will stick to the Versamark. So again, I will be showing that. The other thing we need is we need to slightly prep our cardstock. and we do this with an anti-static bag. Now I will show you this and give you an indication of why we do need this. So so anti-static bags, quite important. And that's basically it. I've got some cardstock here. I've also got some other different kinds of cardstock which I will be heat embossing on, just to show you, and then we will move on to a few different techniques. So let's get cracking. Let's start with a basic heat embossing. So I'm just going to grab me a pair of scissors, cut this in half, and do that. And then I've got Lavinia stamps here, so I'm just going to make sure. No, that needs a little bit more. Let's go. Yeah, so let's do that one. Let's cut that. Did that go on? Yeah, both. Can do both of those. So I'm just gonna grab me my stamping platform. And we're just going to do a basic image using our stamps. So you can see right from the beginning, let me plug this in because that would always help. Cool, that works. Move them out of the way, and we can put this down to here. Put some magnets in place. And let's go for this one. So I'm going to do this in just basic black. I'll take it off the carrier sheet. Take it off the carrier sheet. And use, yeah, that'll be fine. So we can make sure she's up the right way. So that is good. I'm happy with that. Yes, I have got it on the clear. So I can bring this down, back over. And then we can get our Versamark ink pad and just lightly tap all over the stamp. And do that. And then with our anti-static bag, just go over the card with you. Now what this does, it removes any moisture or vapor that is on the card, because obviously we want our card, our stamp to, we want our embossing powder just to stick to where we've stamped. That is the whole point. So let's put this down and just give it a few moments as usual, just to let the ink make a good contact with the cardstock. And then lift that off, put that to one side, and give our stamp a clean. there. Excuse that. Put that to one side, and then we can dry off our stamp. There we go. Give that a quick wipe. And we now know that is good to go on our next image. So we can take that up, put that on the carrier sheet, and put that near the packet where it came from. And then we can put our to one side. And the next thing you need is a couple sheets, or 1 or 2 sheets of copier paper. Don't need anything fancy, just straightforward, everyday copier paper. So get our image that we've just nicely, hopefully stamped, and I'm going to use jet black once I've gone through the powders. And these powders, even though they might seem expensive to you, they do last an awful long time. I mean, obviously depending how much you use them. We'll give it a flick and we got a nice clear image. So we can put this back into the pot. Like so. Always put the lid back on, because you never know. Accidents do happen. Now, heat gun. Oh, the other thing I've got now, the thing is, the heat gun can get very, very hot. And I've made myself a little tool, as it were, if I can find it. I've got here it is. Now if I hold this up, it's basically a crocodile's clip with a bit of dowel and a screw just to hold it in place, and it's basically what they use in electronics to hold things, wires and that, to pass currents through. Obviously we're not. So that's just basically a crocodile clip. Now I've done this because it can get very hot. So I've just clipped, it's like a little holder. So it's well away from the heat gun. Now you can heat underneath or on the top, whatever takes your... And just hold it until it goes shiny. Now if I hold that up to you, you can see how shiny it's gone. That's what we're aiming for. So as soon as you see it go shiny, move it on to the next bit. And that is your first heat embossed. And you can see how shiny it is. There you go. And that's basically it. That is your basic, fundamental, straightforward heat embossing. So, okay, so we've done that. Let's move on to something a little bit more advanced. So, Yes, okay, let's do different cardstocks. This is obviously Gold Mary card, and yes, you can heat emboss onto different cardstocks, different surfaces. So let's do onto gold. So we get our stamping platform back. Actually, do we need to? No, leave that. Get our anti-static bag and give this a really good rub. Now I'm going to do something. I'm going to just to show you. Right, let's get this one again, and then we'll get our stamping platform. Move that to one side, and then we can bring our cardstock in. And then we can position our stamp again. Bring it over. I'm going to put a few more. Right, with the Versamark again. Light tapping all over. And then just move that one up a bit. Now, the reason I've put my paw prints on this cardstock is to show you the need for the anti-static, hopefully. And I hope it comes out really bad, because then you'll be able to see why we need the anti-static band. Now she's come out pretty good, I can see that, but let's just see. Put that to one side, and then we have got our stamp to clean, so give that a bit of a clean, and then let's dry it off. This is just kitchen towel, paper towel, so it serves its purpose. And then we can put that to one side, so we know she's clean, and then we can put our platform away, bring in our, and this time I'm going to go for gold. One thing I do like about heat embossing is now that's exactly what I wanted to happen, and it has. Yes. Now you probably think, oh, you can't heat onto mirror card. Well, yes, you can. You've just got to be really gentle, really careful, and you can do it. So again, I'll get my little, because I can feel the heat on my fingers already. So Cool. Right. So that's our second one. Don't know if you can see that. So we have just embossed onto gold mirror card. Now, if I hold this up, see where I deliberately put my finger mark. That's why we go over with an anti-static bag, because with an anti-static bag it gets rid of all that. You can see I've got a whole range of embossing powder all over my card. Yes, I can trim it down, yes, I can get rid of it, but it's just to emphasize the purpose of the anti-static bag. Now, talking about anti-static bags, you can, if you so desire, if you've got an old makeup brush and a bit of talcum powder, you can put the talcum powder into like a small pot or something, and then go over the card with the talcum powder with the makeup brush. Obviously make sure it's all clean, but that's the other way of doing it. But obviously with the anti-static bags, it just makes things a lot more tidier and cleaner, and you're not messing around with loose powder. Okay, so we've done that. We've done 2 images. Let's do a third one, and let's do it onto parchment. So this time I'm going to use exactly the same image. Now you're probably thinking, oh, why is he using the same image? Because I'm going to show you, or at the end, using the one image, you're getting loads of different looks. So that's why I'm doing it. So, and get our anti-static bag. Now with parchment you do need just to be more mindful of cleaning the anti-static, and this time we're going to go in with the white. So we're going to get our image again, and we are going to put her, I would say roughly around there, that'd be good. And then down she goes. Right, so I'm just going to go over that again, because I absolutely want to make sure there is no thing going to get. So again, light tapping all over, and I've gone back obviously to the Versa mark. So and then we can bring her back down, and then just make sure we've got a good contact with the paper. Put that to one side. That's our image. Again, clean our stamp off, and then we can give that a quick clean. And then we can put that back onto the carrier sheets. Put our into one side, put our stamping platform to one side, and now this time let's go for the white. White will be very nice on this. So again, bring our bit of And this is exactly the reason why I've got a perfectly clear image. There's no specks or anything going on around my image. If I just twist that around, see, there is nothing. That's why we use the anti-static bag. So, okay, put the excess back into your pot. And we can put that to one side, put that to one side. Again, we can pick up our image and I'm just going to change this around a bit because I think, there we go. So now, because the heat gun's warmed up, this shouldn't take too long, hopefully. I think that is it. So if I hold that up to you, you can see how embossed that is. How cool is that? So that's 3. So, and that's already 3 different cardstocks, different types of paper and card that we've used to heat emboss on. Okay, let's now introduce some colour, shall we? Right, so, okay, what have I got? Right, okay, let's go now. I need a paper trimmer. Excuse me a minute. My trusty paper trimmer. Right, so put that up on the side, and then this time we are going to introduce a little bit of colour. So I'm not going to go too madly with the colour because I don't want to I just want this as a subtle hint of colour. So let me just go and get some of those, and let's go for some greens. Obviously you can use, and I'm using Distress Oxide, so obviously you can use whatever colour you so desire. So I'm just gonna, normally I would take this down, but I'm just gonna wing this. I just don't want, and I'm just gonna do the centre. I don't want to do the whole lot. So, and the reason I'm using colour is because I want to emphasize the importance of what we do afterwards, because let's go for the cracked pistachio, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time colouring this because I want to go on and do other things. So this is cracked pistachio. The first one I used was bundled sage, so we can just blend this in. That's all I'm doing on that. That can be washed later. Let's make sure and do that. And then put these back where they belong. And then put that one back where it belongs. And then here, the first thing to do is make sure this is absolutely perfectly dry. So just give it a quick blast with your heat gun. And just make sure the ink is completely and utterly dry. I mean, obviously you can cover the whole card if you want to, but for quickness, I'm just doing this. Just one strip down the middle, and I can trim it down later if I so desire. But it's just to show you another way of using the stamps. So I think that is looking good. So we'll put that to one side. Again, even though we've dried it, still use your anti-static bag and go over it where you've coloured, where you've inked with your anti-static bag. So give that a really good going over, and then we can get our stamp, which is wherever I've put it. Ooh, what have I done with her? I've lost her. Oh well, use this one. I'm sure she'll turn up. Oh, what have I done with that? Where is she gone? How bizarre. I've got a gremlin. Right. Oh, I don't know where she's gone. Oh, there she is. Okay, found her. Panic over. Right, so, again, put our cardstock into our stamping platform. And then we have got our stamp. So we're going to again, we can trim this down afterwards. I think I might want her So I'm going to bring it down to the bottom, and then I've got the, if I trim it, I've got that bit to use for something else if I want to. So I'm not really going to waste, and I can trim the bottom off a little bit. So that's cool. So right, okay, so we can bring our platform lid back over, bring that down, and then we can I think I'm going to go for the black again. So give it a really good inking. And down it goes. I forgot to go over with the anti-static bag, but hey ho, we'll see. If I haven't and things happen, then I can explain why. Again, the importance. So move that out of the way, because it will tell us whether we've actually heated it sufficiently enough. So, I mean, you know, to dry the card out. So get rid of, clean the stamp. Do that. Remove the this time we will bring her back in, and let's go for copper, something different. So well, it's actually not too bad. Just missed her arms in the middle. Now, if that happens, I will show you a trick how to do that. So cool. Right, so with that, where it's missed a bit, what you can do is, if I've got it handy, which I should have, this is the Versamark, but in pen form, and you've got a big nib and a small nib. So if you get the small nib, you can just go over the area that you've missed, and that hopefully should rectify the situation. So go back with a copper, and this time just and put the excess back in. And this time we just need to focus the heat on where we've just bit of patchwork. There you go. Can't tell the difference. It's like one complete. And if you look down in that corner, it's a bit dull. That's because it hasn't been heated. You just go in with your heat gun again until it's shiny. And then it's all done. So you've got copper. That's the copper. So, and that's how you do that. Oh, cool. Right, okay. Let's really push the boat out. Let's do this. And I'm going to get me a blending mat, heat resistant mat, which is this here. So this time we're going to ink up the whole area, and I might cut this down a bit so it doesn't take quite so long. So let's get her back again. So let's put her there, and we need to take it down to there. Make sure I have still got room. Yeah, look at that. That is absolutely fine. Quite happy with that. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do now is cover this hole with different coloured inks. So let's start with the green again. And I'm just going to get me a bit of and down in Plymouth, down here in Plymouth, it has been raining, and it's been on and off for, well, it's been raining since January. I think we've had about 30 or 40 days non-stop rain. Right, this is crushed olive. The first colour I used was bundled sage. So let's put this one back. Put that back in there. And then let's, whatever colours. Blue and greens go together, don't they? So let's do a little bit of blues. Let's go for weathered wood. Don't know if that's a blue. That's a nice colour. We can do a little bit of and again, what we're going to do after we've done this is we're going to do something rather magical, and I love when this happens because it's really good and it's a lovely technique. And if you've got ink pads like this, or even the original distress ink pads, you can still do this very technique. So get a bit more. Well, I'm glad I've so I'm just getting colour down basically. That is a bit juicy, that salty ocean. So I'm not going to be too precious about this, but obviously if you want, you can take as much time as you want doing this. I just might go in with the bundled sage again, just to bring that out a bit more. But apart from that, I'm just not going to spend too much time. There's plenty of other I've done a few YouTube videos on distress oxides and distress inks, putting it down onto paper and on cards. So if you want to go and check those out, I think I've done a few. So let's just go over with this a bit more. As I say, I'm not going to be too bothered about this because it's right. I'm going to leave it like that. I think that's quite enough colour for my purpose of what I'm going to do. And again, we need to dry this thoroughly before we move on to the next stage. So pop that down there like that, put that on there, put that to one side, put those, we finished with those. Finished with those, and then we heat this, and we need to make sure this is perfectly dry, again like we did before. So just give this a few minutes with your heat gun, just to keep it, just to get all the wet out of the ink, so it's perfectly utterly dry. I think that will do it. There we go. Right, and again, you can splash water. Yeah, let's do that. We can just splash some water onto this, give it a bit more of a interesting background. So let's do that. And just leave that for a few minutes, and then we can go in with our tissue. And again, once we've done this, we do need to dry it, because obviously we've applied moisture, so we just need to give that a quick dry now. Right, and if you've got wordy stamps, I don't think I've got any out, and I'm not going to go looking, because I don't, just have a quick look for you, because there's something else that you can do. let's try that. So I'm just going to grab me, or should I just wing it? Let's just yeah. I'm not too bothered about I just want a hint. Right, I think that is adequate for my needs at the moment. So I wasn't being too pressured about this, because I will explain why I'm doing this, because it's all part of the magic that will happen. So, okay, let's give this a quick cool, that is clean. Put that to one side. Cool, right, let's put that back in its back home, and we can put that back down. And again, because we've applied moisture, just give it a quick whiz with the heat gun. Yeah, that will do. So keep that flat, and then we put all this back to one side, and then the magic, right? Anti-static bag again as normal, and I'm just gonna go and grab me, and I know you've just seen me put my hands all over, but I have gone back over. So, and I'm just gonna grab me, because I'm gonna need one. Never do that. Right, so that is now clean. We can bring our stamping platform back up, and this is one of the reasons why I've picked a solid stamp. And what I mean by solid is there's a lot of well, solid colour, so that's good, and that will explain a few things. So let's bring her back in, and right, cool. So I'm going to move that, and bring her over, bring the lid over. And again, as we've done before, clear embossing powder, sorry, clear ink pad. Give that a really good stamp all over. Make sure she's absolutely covered with the and then bring her back over. Make sure you've got really good coverage. clean stamp. Dry it off. Put the anti-static bags back in their packet. And that can go back over to there, onto its, and then we can bring our piece of work back in with, and this time we are going to use clear embossing powder. Now you're going to think, why? Because we are going to do something. Now make sure it's clear. This says superfine crystal clear. That's what we want. So, but it does look white when you put the powder down. It does come out white. So yeah, I got a pretty good coverage there. I'm quite happy. So if I hold that up to you, see, it is white. So I'm going to pour that back into there, put the lid back on, and then we bring our piece of work back in. And then there's one more stage after this. So heat gun again. Now you're going to see the image completely disappear. And you're probably thinking, what on earth is he doing? What's he up to? Cool. So I don't know if you can see that. You can see the shiny where it's gone clear. So, okay, the final bit. So we got our applicator. And this time I'm using Memento Jet Black, Tuxedo Black. So that's what I'm using. And just watch. Get now if I just stop and do the bit that I've done. Because of the clear is resisting the black ink pad, so it's still showing the colours that we've laid down first. So, and this is called Jacob's coat, or Joseph's coat rather, because he's the one that had the multicoloured coat. Joseph. So keep going over with the Tuxedo Black, because the darker you go, the more it will show up the oh excuse me. I mean, so you just completely cover as much as you can with the black. So just going to give that a quick. And if you go over, just go over the embossing with a cloth, and it will just bring out the colours again. And then just go over with the heat gun just to dry that black ink off. And there you have Joseph's coat. So what we've done, we've put some colour down first, and then basically got our stamp, clear embossing powder, and then gone over with the ink. And the reason this happens is because the embossing powder, the clear embossing powder, will enable you to see the colour underneath the first layer that we did with all the different colours, and the clear embossing powder will resist also the black ink, so it's kind of sealed the card for you. So there you go. So I hope you've enjoyed all that, and thank you for joining me. And just to recap, we have done with that image 3, 4, there we go. So we have done 4 images using embossing powders on different cardstocks, on different cardstocks and different techniques. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye for now.